Claire said nervously. "Oh, this is it's too much." Charlie took her hand and smiled. "Honey, since Doris clearly wants to help you, why would you refuse her offer?" "I'm not trying to be rude to Doris," Claire said quickly. "It's this is too embarrassing." Charlie took the check from Xander and placed it in Claire's hand. "Since Doris and Xander said it's free, you should just take the money. The M. Grand Group is a huge company, worth hundreds of billions. Why would they care about your rent? Besides, I'll be working with you from now on. You can't be so timid, right?" Charlie's words made Claire reconsider. It was true. The M. Grand Group was the biggest company in Oris Hill, with resources comparable to the entire Smith family. Making a big deal about $180,000 in rent would probably just make someone like Doris uncomfortable. So she nodded quickly and said gratefully, "Doris, thank you so much." Doris smiled slightly. "We're partners. It's only natural to help each other out." Claire nodded again, then handed the check to Charlie. "My dress doesn't have any pockets. Can you hold this for me?" "Okay." Charlie slipped the check into his pocket and said to Claire, "Come on, I'll take you to say hi to Waria. The Smith family has a few renovation projects going on right now. You should talk to her about them." Claire agreed, but she really didn't want to talk to Waria. She felt so out of her league around her. More importantly, she always sensed a hint of hostility hidden behind Waria's warm and intelligent smile. They say a woman's intuition is never wrong. Deep down, Waria hoped to one day steal Charlie away from the Wilson family and bring him into the Smith family. That was the source of her subtle hostility. And Claire had already picked up on Waria's deeply hidden hostility. She just hadn't figured out where it was coming from yet. Just then, Claire checked the time. It was already past 10 o'clock, and her parents still hadn't arrived. She leaned over to Charlie. "Charlie, Mom and Dad aren't here yet. Can you call them and see where they are?" Charlie nodded. They're probably just stuck in traffic. He and Claire had gotten up early to clean the office and prepare for the reception. Before leaving, they had arranged for Elaine and Claire's dad to meet them at the company before 10 o'clock for the opening ceremony. But now, more than 10 minutes had passed, and there was still no sign of them. Charlie pulled out his cell phone, and just as he was about to make a call, Claire's phone rang. She saw that it was her mother, Elaine, calling, and immediately answered. As soon as she picked up, Elaine's frantic voice came through the speaker. "Claire, there was a car accident on our way here. Your dad is injured and he's at the general hospital. Come here now." "What?" Claire gasped, her voice shaking. "How bad is Dad? Which hospital is he in?" Elaine's voice was trembling, thick with tears. "We're at Oris Hill General Hospital. Your dad, he was knocked into a coma. Just come, quickly." Claire couldn't believe it. One moment she was happily celebrating her grand opening, and the next, her world was falling apart. "Okay, I'm on my way," she said, her voice filled with panic. Charlie had heard the entire call and knew how serious this was. He immediately turned to everyone in the office. "Everyone, please make yourselves comfortable for a bit. Claire and I have to go." Normally, it would be incredibly rude for the hosts to just leave their guests. But everyone there was a fan of Charlie, so of course, no one minded. So Charlie rushed Claire straight to Oris Hill General Hospital. When they arrived, they ran to the ICU ward. Pushing the door open, Charlie immediately saw Jacob lying on the hospital bed, his eyes shut tight, completely unconscious. Elaine was sitting by the bed, her face pale and her clothes stained with blood. She looked completely lost. The color drained from Claire's face, and her eyes immediately welled up with tears. She rushed to her mother's side. "Mom, what happened to Dad?" Elaine's eyes were red and swollen. "Your dad and I were on our way to your opening ceremony," she sobbed. "A truck ran a red light and hit us. His condition is really bad." Claire quickly turned to a doctor who was in the room. "Doctor, how is my father?" The doctor replied, Don't worry, his life isn't in danger for the time being. Claire and Charlie both breathed a sigh of relief when they heard that Jacob was going to be okay. But then, the doctor hesitated and added, "But." Claire couldn't help but ask, "But what?" The doctor sighed. He's suffered a severe spinal injury. When he wakes up, he'll have high paraplegia. High paraplegia, he explained. It means he'll be paralyzed from the neck down. When Claire heard that her dad might be paralyzed from the neck down, her vision went dark. The room started spinning, and if Charlie hadn't been there to catch her, she would have collapsed right there on the floor. She quickly asked, "Doctor, can a spinal injury like this be cured?" The doctor shook his head. Basically, there is no cure. At least, there are no known cases in the world of a full recovery from high paraplegia. The best outcome we usually see is the patient recovering enough to be able to sit up on their own. But that's about it. You all need to be mentally prepared. Hearing this, Claire burst into tears, her face a tearful beauty. Then, through her sobs, she turned to Elaine. "Mom, are you okay?" Elaine, looking pale, said, "I'm okay, but my head hurts a little. The doctor checked me out and said it's nothing serious. It was mostly your dad. The truck slammed right into his side." As she spoke, she started crying again. Charlie asked a few questions and found out that the truck that ran the red light had taken off after the crash. His mother-in-law and Jacob were both knocked unconscious in the accident and couldn't get a look at the license plate. Afterward, they were taken to the hospital by some kind passers-by. Elaine's injuries weren't as bad. She was in the passenger seat and was only knocked out for a moment. She just had some bruises and minor cuts. She woke up after arriving at the hospital. But Jacob was driving and took the brunt of the impact, so he wasn't as lucky. Charlie couldn't help but sigh. It seemed like there was no justice in the world. Jacob, sure, he liked to brag and pretended to be an expert when he wasn't, but deep down he wasn't a bad person. He was just kind of useless. And now Jacob was facing paralysis from the neck down. On the other hand, his mother-in-law was a total snob, a real shrew, a shameless woman who would do anything for status, even use her own daughter. She had no morals and no limits. And what happened to her? She was perfectly fine. Thinking about this, Charlie sighed and had a dark thought. Why couldn't it have been his mother-in-law, Elaine? Just then, the door to the ICU ward opened, and two figures walked in. When Charlie saw the young man in front, his expression instantly turned cold. It was Gideon Graham, the same guy he'd put in his place at the car show yesterday. Behind him was a middle-aged man carrying a medical bag with a big red cross on it. Claire couldn't help but ask, "Mom, why is he here?" Elaine said, "I asked him to come. Gideon knows the director of this hospital. He was visiting family here when we were brought in. He saw that your dad and I were hurt, so he got your dad moved to the ICU." Her expression changed in an instant. She turned to Gideon with a huge smile and said warmly, "Gideon, you've been running all over the place for us. You must be exhausted. Please, come take a break." Gideon Graham smiled slightly. "Don't worry about it, Elaine. I'm not tired." As he spoke, he noticed Charlie standing behind Elaine, and his expression soured. He couldn't believe it. That useless loser Charlie was actually here. Yesterday at the auto show, it was all because of Charlie that he'd been embarrassed in front of Claire. He'd hated Charlie's guts ever since. He didn't believe for a second that Charlie was anything special, and he was looking for a chance to expose him for the fraud he was. Now, seeing his rival, he was filled with resentment. At the same time, he started plotting how to win back some respect from Claire and get back in her good graces. At that moment, Elaine sighed, wiped away a tear, and said, "Gideon, the doctor just told us that your Uncle Wilson might be paralyzed in bed for the rest of his life. What am I going to do?" Gideon quickly pointed to the middle-aged man behind him and introduced him to Elaine. Auntie, don't worry. This is Dr. Martin Serrano. He's a famous expert in holistic medicine. I brought him here myself to see your uncle. He's an amazing doctor. If anyone can help him, it's Dr. Serrano.